Welcome back, guys, to episode, chapter, whatever I want to call it this time. I don't even know anymore. It's number 4?
Yeah.
That sounds right. 4? Yeah, we'll go with that. If not, it's 5. We'll find out whenever we edit the last video that we haven't done yet. Shocker, because we're behind on the 8 ball. It is a lovely... Thank you, wife. She has to be fancy and get these bottles with the diamond top. Whatever. We are here today to discuss the National League All-Stars. Very excited to discuss this. Hold on, water break. I'm dehydrated. So, oh god, that's terrible. Alkaline fucking water's gross. Alright, so we're going to discuss the National League All-Stars and some things that I like. And we're going to discuss the biggest snub in the All-Star game. So, the primary voting have come and gone. The reserves were announced Sunday night. And here's where we stand. The National League is loaded. I think it's super fucking loaded. There's a lot of guys from the NL West. A lot of guys. I think there should have been more. But we'll get into that as we go. We'll start in the American League East. We will start with the Washington Nationals. They will be represented by Anthony Rendon. And the guy who I think is the best pitcher in baseball right now, and I don't know how close it is, the only other guy that can really give him a run for his money is Verlander, and that's Max Scherzer. What Max has done since breaking his nose on a foul ball bunt in batting practice has been absolutely ridiculous. I don't think the guy's given up more than a run in the 3 starts since breaking his nose. You break Max, Max gets more pissed off and shoves it down your throat even more. Kind of impressed. The Atlanta Braves will be represented by 3 different guys. Freddie Freeman, the starting first baseman. Ronald Acuna Jr., the starting right fielder. And Mike Soroka. No real surprise here. Soroka has probably been their best pitcher. The only other thing that you could have done is probably maybe taken Soroka out and put in Cole Hamels. But with Hamels hitting the injury list, it means Soroka gets in my mind. The Mets will be represented by Jacob deGrom, Jeff McNeil, and the Polar Bear, Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso has been announced for the Home Run Derby. The Miami University product is absolutely tearing the cover off the ball, and Citi Field loves him. And I'm not talking about the fans, I'm talking about the actual stadium, because he is absolutely destroying the baseball there. The fans like him too, not joking. I went to a Mets game prior to WrestleMania weekend, and they played, it was like their second game of the season at home, and the fans, all the fans in the section we were sitting in were really high on Pete Alonso. A lot of big things coming from the kid from the University of Miami. The Miami Marlins, speaking of Miami, will be represented by Sandy Alcantara. I think like Alcantara was like the 3rd or 4th selection here. Pablo Lopez is hurt. They're down Caleb Smith, who I think could have also been another guy that could have went. So I feel like Alcantara is like the guy that gets it by default, which, I mean, no disrespect to Sandy. He's had a good year. For a really mediocre but not like terrible Miami Marlins team, it's really surprising because we thought this team was going to be trash. And I mean, they've actually been competitive. They've had like an 8-game win streak earlier in the year. Kind of surprised at how good this team has been. So tip of the cap to Alcantara for making it for the Marlins. And finally, the former Miami Marlin, now representing the Philadelphia Phillies, will be JT Realmuto, or as I call him, JT the Real Great Muto, because I'm a wrestling fan and I'm an idiot. So if you look at that there's the NL East will be represented by Rendon, his first appearance, as well as Max Scherzer. Freeman, Acuna, and Soroka both in their first appearance in the All-Star game. deGrom, Alonso, and McNeil both in their first appearances in the All-Star game. Alcantara, his first, and JT Realmuto. The NL Central, it's very surprising that there aren't more guys when you think about the people that play in this division that aren't in the All-Star game. Paul DeJong is the only St. Louis Cardinal on the roster. No Paul Goldschmidt, no Yadier Molina, no Matt Carpenter. It's no pitching, no Miles Michaelis, nobody. It's really bare bones. Paul DeJong is the only member of the St. Louis Cardinals on the roster. Very surprising. Not from a statistical standpoint, because a lot of those guys I listed aren't having all-star type years. But it's really been a surprise on that situation. So those guys are having down years, so it means Paul DeJong is the only St. Louis Cardinal on the all-star team. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the defending MVP, Christian Yelich. No surprise here, Yelich won the primary. He is going to start in left field. He'll be joined by Yasmani Grandal, the backstop that was brought in from the Los Angeles Dodgers, and by left-handed flamethrower and probably the sickest guy in baseball, Josh Hader. This guy can throw it 105, and it doesn't hurt. the guy's a stud. I love Josh Hader. I think he's a great fucking pitcher. I think he's going to be a killer in the All-Star game. I can't wait for them to bring him up against some of the AL best lefties and just watch that matchup. I'm going to be glued to my TV for that one, so I like that. The only representative for the Pittsburgh Pirates is Josh Bell. Not surprised that Bell is a representative. Maybe a little bit surprised that he's the only one. But I like that Josh Bell is going to be here. I think he's absolutely deserves to be here. He's killing the baseball. Happy for Josh Bell. Congratulations to him. The Cubs will be represented. I can't speak today. The dehydration's killing me. Wilson Contreras and Javier Baez, the 2 starters that were elected. They'll be joined by Chris Bryant. Those 3 guys definitely deserve to be All-Stars. Rizzo had an argument, I feel like, in my mind, that he probably should have been here as well. But he gets left out just because the sheer volume of first basemen that are already been taken here at this point. So we're going to leave Rizzo off. The Reds will be represented by their best pitcher, Luis Castillo. Castillo's having a great year for them. Had a rough start his last time out against the Cubs, but that's not surprising with as deep as that Cubs lineup is. So the NL Central representatives, Paul DeJong, his first, Yelich, Grandal, Hader, Contreras, Baez, Bryant, Josh Bell, his first appearance, Luis Castillo, his first appearance. Now, the guys that have been left out of this division, I feel like you could make your own All-Star team. Goldschmidt, Wong, Yachty, Rizzo, Yasiel Puig, Jesse Winker's had a great year. Derek Dietrich's hitting the ball 700 feet with one buttoned on his jersey. More necklace and chest hair out in Cincinnati than he ever did in Miami. Where was this swag in Miami? If this swag was here in Miami, Derek, you'd be a fucking drug lord by now. You have so much swag and you didn't even show it while you were in Miami. Come on, dude. Bring it back to Miami. Fucking pimp the collar out here. The NL West, the final division in baseball that we have not discussed yet for their All-Stars. A lot of talent in this one. The Colorado Rockies will be represented by the best third baseman in baseball. Gonna keep arguing this one. Nolan Arenado. He's the starting third baseman. Trevor Story, Chuck Nasty, Charlie Blackmon, and David Dahl will also represent the Colorado Rockies. I have no issue with this. I feel like those guys should be there. They're great. All of them, all 4 of them. Trevor Story's been great. Chuck Nasty's been awesome. David Dahl coming back from the basically lost 2018 due to 3 different injuries. Really happy that he's gotten his game together and that he's a member of this All-Star team. The Padres will be represented. Their one representative is Kirby Yates. Surprise, surprise, it's not Manny Machado. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Yates is the best player on the Padres. He may not be on the Padres by the time the All-Star game comes because he may be traded somewhere else. And if he is, more power to him. He will go make a bullpen great right away. Boston, this is me talking to you. Look me in the eyes. Go get Kirby Yates. I don't care what you got to give him because our bullpen sucks. Go do it. The Dodgers will be represented by Hyun-Jin Ryu, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, and the starting outfielder Cody Bellinger. We're going to talk about the big snafu here, so I don't want to dive into it knowing that it's coming up in the next about five-ish minutes. Hyun-Jin Ryu has been labeled by Dave Roberts the starter of the 2019 All-Star Game. A lot of credit to Hyun-Jin. I think he should start this game. He's been great all year. He's had one bad start. Congratulations to him. He is going to start the 2019 All-Star Game for the National League. That's the only thing that Dave Roberts has announced so far. The Giants will be represented by Will Smith, the closer there. He's another guy that could help a bullpen. Hey, Boston, wake up. This is another wake-up call. Go get one of those guys. Figure it out really quickly. I love Matt Barnes, but he's not a closer. Go do it. Come on. Dombrowski, who you don't need to fly home from London. Make this trade. Let's go. Clock. So, I like Will Smith here. I think he's a power-throwing lefty that's really, really good. And last but not least, represented in the Arizona Diamondbacks, a guy that I told you was a win for the little guys, Ketel Marte, the starting second baseman for the National League. I love Marte. Adam Jones, I feel like, kind of got a little discredited here. So did Eduardo Escobar. We'll talk about them in the snubs. So the National League West, Arenado, Story, Blackmon, Dahl, his first All-Star Game appearance. Kirby Yates, his first. Ryu and Walker Buehler, their first appearances. They're joined by Bellinger and Kershaw. First All-Star Game appearances for both Will Smith and Ketel Marte. Now, the snubs in the National League, Eduardo Escobar is the only other one here that I had a little legitimate argument for. But the fact, I'm going to put my pad down because I got to get real serious here. Hold on. Probably just made that really fuzzy. Let me get a drink before I go on this rant. Breaking news, this water still sucks. but I have to drink water of some sort because I'm getting dehydrated more and more I think about it. Why the hell is Max Muncy not on an All-Star team? Why? The guy's been the greatest hitter in the world. What do you mean he's not an All-Star? What do you do in the World Series? Won a game in the 18th inning off of Nathan Eovaldi. What he's done ever since then? Been, I don't know, the second best hitter in a Dodgers lineup that includes Justin Turner, Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, Alex Verdugo. The list goes on and on and on. I could probably do this for about 14 more hours. The fact that Max Muncy is not an All-Star is an absolute joke. The fact that you guys are taking guys, no disrespect to, let's see, who can I discuss here? Paul DeJong. You could have taken a pitcher from St. Louis and given Max Muncy that spot. Sorry, guys. Max Muncy's an all-star. It's not even close. You guys got this one completely wrong. Find a way to fix this, because if you don't, you guys will fucking regret this for the rest of your life. The fact that Max Muncy will not be in Cleveland is a joke. Final vote, injury, I don't care. Find a way to get Max Muncy to Cleveland. The guy deserves to be there. He's an all-star. If you want to disagree with me, feel free to comment below. Give me some of his stat lines and tell me who's better right now than Max Muncy at second base. Yes, Ketel Marte got the start there. No, it is Max Muncy's a better first baseman than probably half the guys that got voted into. No disrespect to Freddie Freeman, but the fact that Max Muncy is not an all-star is a joke. An absolute travesty. And now the big thing in all of this situation with the National League All-Stars is the fact that the two guys that signed for $1 bajillion combined, neither one of them is representing their team in the All-Star game. No Bryce Harper, no Manny Machado. Both of those guys decided to lay eggs the first half of the year. I'm glad the fans got those right. Because at the end of the day, this thing has always been a popularity contest. But for the fans to notice, yeah, Bryce Harper's not having an all-star year. Manny Machado, mediocre. He was okay at shortstop when Fernando Tatis Jr. got hurt. He wasn't great. I love the fact that these guys signed billion-dollar contracts. Where are they going to spend the second week in July? At their home. Not wearing their team's jersey, not representing the National League as All-Stars. So I'm damn glad that's the case. And at the end of the day, I feel like neither one of those guys should be an All-Star. They have not had great years. I think they've been mediocre at best. I think that the Padres got so pressed after the Eric Hosmer deal fell through, and he hasn't had a great career for them yet, that they felt forced to have to go get Manny, forgetting the fact that they have this young kid named Fernando Tatis, who's been absolutely fucking incredible for them. So at the end of the day, I'm glad that the fans got that right, and I'm glad that the players didn't vote the two of them in to try to salvage face. So that's where we leave this now. Both teams have been set. We know the American League All-Stars. We know the National League All-Stars. We do have some names that have been announced for the Home Run Derby, including Josh Bell, Christian Yelich, the Polar Bear, Pete Alonso, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 4 names have been announced. I feel maybe another one has been announced so far, but I haven't seen it yet. There's some rumors floating around about the other 4. I'm really excited about this. I want to see Nomar Mazara in there. I talked about that a little bit in the AL episode that's up. But this is where we're at. Looking at these two rosters on paper right now without a single thing being played, I think the National League is the better team. I think the National League will win the All-Star game. I'm going to just say on a limb, I'm going to say 8-5. I don't know if this is going to hold. We still have like 3 weeks, so we'll see if the rosters actually hold this way. But that is the All-Star game pre-game wrap. Sounds right. On our next episode, our next chapter, our next chronicle, whatever you want to call it, we're going to talk about AEW Fyter Fest. I did a pre-show for this. I'm watching it currently right now. I'm going to finish watching it, hopefully to have a episode recorded so you guys can see my lovely face while we're traveling through the Southeast to go back to South Carolina to attend some family matters that we have to take care of. That will be this week. Also, we have a podcast of Wrassling Retrospective. Myself, Ernest E.J. Christian, and my wrestling wife, Joe Lopez. We have our own wrestling podcast where we go back and we watch old wrestling pay-per-views, and we have a lot of fun doing that, and we talk about them. We talk about the goods and the bads and the uglies. So we're super excited to announce that that's been released on Apple, Spotify, so feel free to give us a follow there. But that's going to wrap up my time here. I need to go get some fluids in me. I feel like I'm about to pass out at any point. Probably need to go ice my shoulder. I'm pretty much burned like a lobster. So I appreciate everybody for coming in. please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Follow me on Instagram at fatkidcertifiedse. On Twitter at theycallmeburn. I'm on Facebook if you can find me. May the odds be forever in your favor. Until our next episode about Fighter Fest, I am Mike. Good night.